your appearance on Bill Maher's show.
Yeah.
And I found the way he spoke to you to be rather insulting.
So Patrick Bet-David sat down with Bill Maher, had a conversation with him. We covered it in the past. Maybe we will cover it again. Now, what's interesting is that Steve-O has been sober. Patrick Bet-David has been sober too for a long time, very careful with substances. And Bill Maher just did not respect that, I guess, and was very disrespectful. And so Patrick Bet-David exposes him in this video. Let's watch.
I don't need you to respond to that. It's more of a comment than a question. Are you a guy who enjoys smoking marijuana or breathing in marijuana?
Marijuana is very good for me, but I don't smoke weed.
Okay.
And let me explain why. It goes back to the coffee thing. Anything that brings me here, it's better for the people around me. Because I'm always like this. So I'm sure the people that work with me would like for me to smoke weed every day, right? But I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, I don't listen. If you're smoking weed, that's nothing for me. I'm not somebody that smokes weed. Every time I've enjoyed it, but man, I haven't done that for God knows mid to late 20s last time, so mid 20s. Yeah.
I bring that up because for me, I'm a clean and sober guy. Like, it's very important that I maintain my sobriety.
How long have you been?
Approaching 16 years.
Get out of here.
Yes.
I knew you had. I didn't know it was 16 years.
I'm about to be sweet
Good
16
for you,
coming
bro.
up on
Congratulations.
it. Thank you very much. And there's nothing, like really, there's nothing that I value more than my sobriety. There's nothing more that I protect than my recovery. And I found it kind of upsetting when the Bill Maher podcast, which I saw you on, reached out, and they his thing is he smokes pot the whole time while he interviews people, and I said, hey, I'd happily go on there, but could he, while I'm on, out of respect for my sobriety, could he refrain from smoking
and he
pot?
said no.
He said no. That's a deal breaker.
Wow.
And Mike Tyson's podcast is called Hotboxing. Like the whole point, like, be real. All of these prolific potheads, I've been on their shows, and it wasn't so important to them to blow marijuana smoke in my face.
I did not know that.
For Bill Maher, it was a deal breaker.
That makes sense, though, because Bill Maher gets on there, and I always notice that he just talks so much. Like the Tim Pool video that was recently posted that I watched, Tim Pool is literally known for cutting off people, not letting them speak, and he couldn't get a word in with Bill Maher. I was like, okay, Tim, like, whenever you do strike, can you please, like, say something, get this going, get this conversation rolling? Because it was like, back in my day, every single time with Bill Maher.
And I found, and maybe that's why, whenever you kind of see through the lens. So I watched you and the way you spoke to it. I could probably see him say the most innocuous thing and find it insulting.
To me, you know how they say styles make fights?
Yeah.
You hear that phrase all the time,
sure.
right? So for me, I'm always, again, the benefit of growing up with when one of your relatives is multi-personality, bipolar, and you never know what's going to show up on any given day. You know what you'll learn very quickly? You'll learn to call audibles very quickly and adjust to whoever you're. Maybe that helped me out with sales. Maybe that helped me out with recruiting people from different industry to become insurance agents. And it's a challenge. So because when I sat with them, I'm like, I have no idea where this is going to go.
Yeah.
No idea. And then I felt like one insult, two insults, 3, 4, 5. I'm like, okay. So this probably was booked by his book, because his bookers loved me. Till today, they text me all the time, right?
Yeah.
And their booker said, Pat, we need someone like you with him because he needs to be challenged. Because his bookers are not necessarily same politically aligned with him. They're more true libertarians where they vote that way as well, versus Bill claims to be a libertarian, but an hour and 50 minutes into it, he just said, no, I'm a liberal, I'm a Democrat, that's the woman I vote for. Okay, great, no problem. So I'm a more libertarian, independent, fiscally.
What's so interesting, too, is that Bill Maher, he doesn't even talk to them before the show what I'm used to is you guys talk before the show a little bit. There's a little bit pre-show. We're kind of talking about topics and stuff like that. From what I've seen, Bill Maher just shows up on set. And they don't even know. They're already seated and everything.
I'm conservative capitalist, all of that. And so when we started talking, I'm like, okay, so this wasn't a guest you booked that you wanted to talk to. Somebody else booked this. Because you know when you got bookers, like any guest I have on the podcast is people that I want to talk to.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of one time I sat down with this guy who lived in space for 315 days and broke the record, whatever the time. You know who this person is. And, you know, his brother's a senator in Arizona. So he comes down, he lands, celebration, world record. He lived in space. We have to do this interview. I'm like, how do you think it's going to do? It's going to blow up, tens of millions of views. Okay. We go do the interview. It's the shortest interview I ever done. I think it was like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I wrapped up. I'm like, we got out. It did 40,000 views, 50,000. You know why? I have zero interest for space.
Yeah.
Zero. So for me, I realized everybody I sit down with has to be somebody I want to talk to. So the mobsters I talk to is because I want to talk to them. If I talk to the bodybuilders, it's because I want to talk to them. If I spoke to the criminals, it's because I want to talk to them. If I spoke to the CIA politician, athlete, Kobe, because I want to talk to them. The higher the level of me being interested in the guest always resulted in more views for the podcast, right? So I don't know if Bill was interested in, it's like, so I hear you're rich. You can already tell it's not him. Somebody gave him a one-pager.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy's got this kind of money and all this stuff. And so then I said, okay, I'm going to...
It's actually, I could see why that would be insulting for somebody like Patrick Bet-David, who's tried so hard and worked his way up and grinded to just hear, oh, so I hear you're rich. And it's like, yeah, he made it and you made it too, but it doesn't mean that you can just discount it like, oh, hey, well, welcome to the top. You know, we've been waiting for you for a while. You know, there's stories, there's passion, there's love, there's sweat, there's tears that come behind this. So just to say, oh, well, you're rich. I hear about that. So tell me about that. It's like, you don't really want substance out of the conversation. If you did, you wouldn't start out like that.
Take a different approach. He's not going to let me talk. Every time I talked, he'd cut me off. If you count the minutes spoken, 90% of the time he spoke. I'm the guest on his podcast, but he spoke 90% of the time. So then I said, maybe this is his form of therapy. I'm being serious. Yeah. I said, if this is your form of therapy, I'll play the therapist. No problem. Let's go through. So I'll just ask questions, and I'll sit there and we go through. And by the way, you know what happened to this podcast? Do you know that podcast, out of everybody he's ever had, you know no podcast he's ever done got as many comments as the one with him and I.
Well, comments, and then people were doing their own YouTube
reaction
videos
to it,
on
yeah.
reactions to your, you know,
approach.
And they started doing that, and then Jillian Michaels was on after you, and same
she
thing.
crushed it.
She crushed it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I think we're on the same page, and you know, I saw that, and I had feelings. I felt. Your guess. How do you get Tom Brady?
W. Steve-O for being able to pull that out of Patrick Bet-David. See, that's fun stuff. People who can interview and take just a personal level of, who have a personal level of respect and just love and admiration for their guests, they always make the best content that the audience always feels like they get something out of. Like, I really felt like I got something out of PBD talking about Bill Maher, where a lot of times Bill Maher will sit down with people and he doesn't try, and they're just so eager for him to try that they just spew it all out. You know, like Tim Pool, there was nothing really that was super enticing or engaging in that conversation. It was just like Tim Pool was sitting down with one of his idols and he just wanted to spill, you know, and BBD kept his composure. He didn't, and that's why it was so, you know, perhaps controversial. Anyways, guys, that's all we have for today. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.